Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Mountaineer Paul Talks Football. We're live. Um, every now and again, I think something happens in life that you truly just don't expect. This definitely falls into that category. Dale Wolfley, who passed away in his sleep last night, is no longer with us, but we're going to celebrate. I think some of the memories, some of the things that he did, some of the things he was known for as the Wolfman. I think he was beloved in the Mountaineer community, absolutely. And it's somebody that I had the privilege to work with on a couple different occasions through YouTube and things like that. So this is a guy that saw probably some of the biggest success that this program has seen. Obviously, he was there for it all, having played with some of the best players in this team's history, in this university's history, and had a really big insight on how things should be done here in Morgantown. And I think until the end, he was a true blue Mountaineer, somebody that we can all be proud of. Um, Metro News has an article that I'm going to read real quick, guys, on just the kind of the particulars of this situation, and after that, we'll get to some of the comments. Former WVU offensive lineman Dale Wolfley has died. Former WVU offensive lineman Dale Wolfley passed away in his sleep on Saturday evening. He was 56. He didn't look 56. Wolfley was a native of Orchard Park, New York. He played 3 seasons with the Mountaineers at guard and shifted to center during his senior season in 1990. Ron and Dale Wolfley are joined by big brother and Syracuse grad Craig at Mountaineer Field. Now, there must have been a picture there. Apologies. Following his graduation from WVU, Wolfley started a coaching career as the head coach of Phoenix College in Arizona. He returned to Morgantown to work on Bill Stewart's staff in '08 as the Mountaineers player personnel director. Wolfley later served as the coordinator on the WVU Varsity Club, an organization that engaged in outreach and connections with WVU football alumni. And then apparently there are a few more Twitter things on Twitter there. Wolfley was one of 3 brothers to compete at the Division I level. Dale's older brother Ron starred at WVU from '81 to '84 and played 10 seasons in the NFL. Ron is a member of the WVU Sports Hall of Fame. The eldest brother Craig starred at Syracuse University, and he later played with the Pittsburgh Steelers and Minnesota Vikings. All 3 brothers worked in football broadcasting after their playing careers concluded. Dale worked for the Mountaineers Sports Network in various roles from 2013 to 2022. 2 of Dale's sons, Stone and Maverick, play Division I football. Stone is currently an assistant coach at his alma mater of Morgantown High School. So, a lot of people impacted by this: kids, brothers, family, fans. Um, and, you see when you saw Dale, at least to me, he always looked really healthy. He looked like he was always in the weight room, and a guy that uh, talked about as well being healthy and eating healthy. Apologies for putting that back up. We get that back off there. So let's get to some of these comments, guys. Andrew Smith, channel member, says, "Rip Wolfman, you will be missed. Prayers for his family." Thank you, John Kelly. I've seen you posted on here quite a few times, man. Rip Dale the Wolfman. He passed away last night in sleep. Reported on Metro News. Yeah, that's the article I read. Yeah, I know Liquid Code. It's a sad situation, man. Wasn't it? These are things that unfortunately they happen. And ow, sorry, my cat jumped on me. Um, my dad passed away in a similar fashion. Um, I don't want to say it's a heart or anything like that, but um, my dad was 53 when he passed away, and it was very sudden. It happened right in front of me, and so I understand how that's how some of these kids involved are going to feel. They're grown adults now, and I assume there are grandkids and everything like that. I didn't get to know Dale on a personal level, strictly working relationship through Mark Rogers' show. He had the Wolfman's Call, which he had that in multiple different iterations throughout, whether it was on MSN, whether it was on his own YouTube show, whether it was on Mark Rogers' show. And he was always, and for me, one of my favorite people to listen to, just because he bubbled over with passion for the Mountaineers. And anybody that loves the Mountaineers is a friend of mine. Crazy. He just made a show a few days ago. He definitely shot Rip Dale. Yeah, and the words can only do so much in situations like this. I think at the end of the day, it's all about the people that have been impacted. And I hopefully, I mean, it's not my. I don't feel like it's my place to do it. I gave it some thought. I thought about doing some kind of GoFundMe for him, but I don't know the situation there, so it would be kind of idiot. I'd be an idiot to do that because I don't know the financial situation whether it's even needed. I mean, they're always great to have, but certainly wouldn't mind. Would use my platform for it absolutely if it was needed. But um, I'm sure all that's going to be taken care of. Hopefully, there's no issues with his burial or getting to that situation. Because as I know, in my family situation, those can be really expensive. Hopefully, there's none of that. It can just be all about celebrating Mr. Wolfley because this is a guy that played a national championship game. And this is not about football, but this is a football show, and so I think we kind of talk. It's my job to come on here and kind of talk about what he meant to the Mountaineers to me, and hopefully some of you guys can talk about that as well. Um, and like I've said a few different times, his passion for the game of football was, it's as big as anybody I knew. As far as just it was all over him when you see him talking about it. Could not be, he was unable to not be energetic about it. And that's something that speaks to me, somebody who absolutely loves football as well. I think it's a great connector when it comes to connecting people in different situations from different cultures and backgrounds. And Dale was definitely one of those people. So um, thank you everybody for joining. First and foremost, I know this is not a typical show. Certainly, there are things to talk about um, with the Mountaineers, but I think we're going to just stick to Dale Wolfley for now. And then maybe at the end of the show, we'll talk about a little bit of the Mountaineers. But I think, I made the thumbnail for a specific reason. So um, don't be afraid to. Yes, Timothy Green. Yes, it's true. Unfortunately, sir, I'm sorry that you're finding out through this or on social media. Um, Metro News released an article on this, uh, just a little bit ago. I'll certainly be happy to let you see it again really quick. The headline. Um, I'm not happy to let you see it, but I'll let you see it. So that's the headline from Metro News, and then it goes on to kind of talk about, you know, the situation there. Obviously, his brother's big, and apparently dedicated the Pittsburgh Steelers game to him today. So that was really cool. He's a big time voice for them, um, and it's just a sad situation for me because I really enjoyed listening to him talk Mountaineer football. The way he would say the Wolfman's call, and just different little idiosyncrasies, yeah, idiosyncrasies that he had, um, were something I found to be amusing sometimes, and um, something that I will always remember about him. So, if you've got a memory of Mr. Wolfley, please leave it below. I would certainly appreciate that. I can only talk for so long on the situation before I start to run out of words. I didn't know him well enough to uh, speak on a bunch of different personal things about him. So I'm going to rely on you guys to kind of help me along with that. What's up, JK? Yeah, it's sad. Man, a few words is JK Marshall. It's usually a thumbs up. So I got a few more letters out of him. Timothy Green, you're welcome. That's how I feel too, Dwayne. His passion with everything WV will be missed. Um, I wasn't sure the first time I met him. I wasn't sure how to take him because he can be very blunt. He can be a tad abrasive, but it wasn't anything. He wasn't trying to be rude. He's just a. You got to think this guy's a New York native. They have a different way of communicating, and he was just very cut and dry to the point. So, I wasn't sure if he even liked me the first time I met him, and thankfully, I think I found out subsequently after that uh, he had some mutual respect for me because when you're talking with somebody like him who played the game at a high level, at the Division 1 level, I think he even played some pro ball. Um, you kind of feel inadequate, or at least I did. I can talk sports all day, but having not gone past the high school level, you start to feel out of your depth. Even though, as far as from a knowledge base, I can talk shop as far as what a play call looks like, what a protection scheme sounds like, or whatever. ID and a mic, whatever, and it's not the same though because he actually did it. I've just learned. So but he did a really good job of making me feel adequate, and certainly didn't, has he, I think some football players kind of look down on people who didn't play the game to talk about it. He was not one of those people, and I really appreciate that. Joey, guys, Joey Foster was extremely close to Dale. Joe, you're certainly welcome to come on if you want to talk about it. I know that you were really close to him and you may not want to, but if that's something you're interested in, let me know, and I'll find a way to get you the link for this because I think you know to me, for me anyway, it was well known that you and he were very very close, and had been for a long time, um, and was really somebody I think who helped you in a lot of certain ways, and you helped him. But I know he helped you with certain contacts and really helped you in Golden Blue Dude there for a while, certain different ways with guests and things you needed. So I'm sure this is really tough on you, man. And maybe you can speak to more of how many people this impacts. Did he have grandkids, things like that? Because I don't know. I'm just talking about the football part of it. Ricky Castle, welcome to the show. He said Dale was a cool dude. Prayers for his family. John Kelly loves the Wolfman. Liquid Code said I didn't know him personally, but he always seemed passionate about what he did. That's kind of what I'll remember about him. He was just, if he was talking about something, it was almost like he couldn't wait to get the words out. It was just he was a different kind of guy. Hey, Coos, he said I'm listening. We lost a true Mountaineer legend. Thanks for listening there, Coos. Coos was going to join me, but I guess he had something with his wife to make dinner, so I'm going solo on this one for tonight. Normally Coos would be available, but it is short notice on a Sunday, so you can't really expect people just to drop what they got going on. John Kelly, his brother Craig, part of the Steelers radio network. Correct. I think Coos told me he dedicated the Steelers game, as far as I know. S. Michael DeHart said he was on 100 miles an hour, 24 hours a day. I mean, he was so hyped about the Mountaineers all the time. Yeah, and it's going to, I know this is, in the grand scheme of things, this is really, really a small issue. But, man, that just makes me sad that he doesn't get to see, after the last 4 years have been what they are, he doesn't get to see how the Mountaineers finish this year. Uh, because I think it's going to be a special year. I really do. So it's sad. He was the best at breaking down Mountaineer football film. Absolutely. And he had kind of some John Madden stuff going on there. Wham and boom and tough acting, acting, and whatever you want to say. Thank you, Paul. Not today, my friend. I love you and thanks for the invite. Another one I will miss. I do plan to do a tribute show to him maybe Tuesday or Wednesday night on March 10th. Okay. Well, I'll promote that. So just let me know, Joey, and I'll promote it on my social medias and on my channel. So just let me know about that. Hey, Jacob. Unfortunately, we lost Mountaineer legend and former football player and broadcaster Dale Wolfley today. Oh, cool. Thanks, John. Timothy, I'm sorry for your loss as well. I didn't know you were a moderator or were on the channel. But yeah. So as you know, Dale was a great guy, and um, sorry for everybody that dealt with him on a day-to-day basis. The loss. Joey, can you speak to whether there's grandkids involved here or anything along those lines? Just unsure about some of the details with that. Just the only reason I ask is just to get prayers out for them, thoughts out for them. Um, I want to make sure I'm sending the right thoughts and prayers to the right people. So yeah, it's a shocker. When I found out, it took me about 7, 8 minutes to really gather myself. It's just not one of those things you expect. You know, he just was so full of life. It's really unfortunate. He was a big guy. And I wonder because I'm a big guy, I don't want to speculate, but uh, there are things I need to get cleaned up in my life, and things like this give people, wake up calls or whatever. But I have trouble sleeping with sleep apnea and different things, and I just wonder, if he had certain issues like that maybe compounded things. But usually, if you go in your sleep, it's usually a heart issue. I mean, that's unfortunately the way things are. I thought so too, Jacob. I thought he looked healthy. And a matter of fact, I thought it looked like he worked out at least in the weight room to me. I mean, certainly a couple years ago, I could definitely tell he was in the weight room. So prayers for all family and friends. Absolutely. We certainly lost somebody. I think a lot of us have our own memories for. If you watch the Mountaineers from 13 to 22, those MSN breakdowns that he had. I think that's where I was introduced to him. I was alive, but I don't remember those early '80s and early '90s Mountaineer teams as much. Um, so I didn't really know about Mr. Wolfley until uh, his broadcasting career started. But certainly, I have grown to really enjoy the type of stuff he did, and especially after meeting him. And Coos, I know, met him as well and had him on the show to talk about Pitt, different things like that. And this was a guy that really hated Pitt, if there was another reason to like him. It was how much he really hated our rivals and believed in the regionality of college football, and really spoke to that, and I think he is, you know, we lose these people, man. It creeps up on you before you know it. You're like, man, I can't think of anybody from such and such era that's left. Love watching him talk yours too, Jacob. Thanks for joining the show, man. Agreed. Something that I always wondered too was I don't know why his show wasn't larger because, I mean, here's a former football player that played during, you could probably argue, one of the two golden eras in WV football history. Uh, and for whatever reason, I mean, it's not that it didn't take off at all. I'm not saying that. I just expected it to be bigger than it was. And maybe people hadn't found out about it yet. I feel like he was kind of hidden away over there on Mark's show, a little bit. I was really rooting for him to grow that thing and get it bigger. Because he had, I mean, listen, you want to talk about connections. He had everybody on, man. It wasn't, he didn't really have to worry about that part of it as much as somebody like me does because he already had those connections forged. Uh, so unfortunately, we're gonna, all those future interviews and stuff, which mean very little in the grand scheme of things. I get that, but man, he had good content. He really did. I think he had, might have even been Steve Slayton on the other day. I can't remember who it was, but he always had good people on. Yeah, Koo's quick to point out he's also a Bills fan, being from Orchard Park. Uh, so I know that probably endeared him to Coos just a little bit as well, which You know, I mean, we had a couple great Mountaineers that went through that part of the world and played football over there with the Bills. So uh, I think there's a lot of Mountaineer fans that were kind of like how I'm a Seahawks fan, uh, pretty much now because of Geno. Similar. They're similar for that. Thanks, TJ. Me too, Michael. I did too. Oh, I have no doubts. I have no doubts, Timothy Green. I meant no shade or anything in that. I was just saying I couldn't believe it wasn't already bigger, But I think he was learning from what he told me the last time I talked to him. He was still learning how to promote it, and like the thumbnail part of it. I think was something he was kind of fooling around with a little bit. Do you put yourself on it because you're a well-known person, or do you just make a thumbnail like about something else? And we had that conversation, and because I was curious, because I'm not a well-known person as far as regionally or anything like him. So he always had himself in the thumbnail, and I was just curious what his. Uh, None of you all probably care about this except me, but as a content creator, you think in thumbnails, or I do. I'm always thinking about that next great thumbnail that can get people to watch. So I was just kind of picking his brain a little bit on that. Oh yeah, I was just wondering about Joey, his family situation. Did he have grandkids? Was he married? I didn't never really hear him speak on that. I know he had kids, so I'm assuming he might have grandkids. But just curious about that. And if you don't want to speak on it, you don't have to. But just wanted to get the appropriate prayers out if people were saying those today, or thoughts out, good feeling and vibes out towards the right people. It's the only reason. Absolutely, because of Gino. Right, Daryl Talley. Yeah, I thought I said that. Maybe I didn't. I'm a little jumbled right now, TJ, because of this news. It's just, I don't know. It just hit me weird. I wasn't. It just was. So I think that's why they say when I worked in, when I worked as a counselor, they always one of the things you get taught is uh, denial and acceptance are always the beginning and end, right? And then everything else is mixed up in between, whether it be bargaining, anger, whatever it is. So I think I was in denial at first about it, just because he was looked healthy. Had just done a show recently, like somebody said. Hey Tony, same here, brother. Thanks for joining, man. Uh, Miss Tony Altimore around. We haven't spoken a while, man. We need to connect again and talk about your Trojans, man. I can't believe they pulled that out yesterday. Three boys and a daughter. Not sure about grandkids. Thanks, Joe. Thanks, Timothy. It means a ton, man. Really does. Yeah, I felt the same. I think selfishly, you know, uh, I thought I was trying to think of a way to include Dale in the news with us being number two, and try to make that put a positive spin on it. And I thought, well, that would just seem awfully selfish. So in the Big 12 conference, number two in the Big 12. So that's but I was trying to soften the blow a little bit. Because I don't do these situations the best. So I just thought, well, I'll just bring it, just like normal. Yeah, that's not a bad idea, Jacob. Or some kind of tribute, maybe retire his jersey or anything. There's a multitude of things you can do. Um, but maybe they can put something in the press box for him. I think he worked in the press box from time to time as well. There's a few things you can do if you really get creative to celebrate a guy who really, I mean, how much of his life did he give to the Mountaineer football? A lot. He's played there for several years as a Mountaineer, was a coach for a bit, and then decided, you know what, I'm gonna spend my life talking about the Mountaineers, and that's damn what he did. That's what I want to do. Interesting, Bama 25. Thanks, man. Wonder what happened to Winston Wright. He certainly wasn't producing. Absolutely, Tony. Appreciate you as always, man. That would be great. That would certainly be great. I hope that happens. I hope that happens. Um, I don't even know what to ask for. I guess like the video, guys. If you think this deserves a like, leave a comment if you're watching this after the fact about Dale. I would prefer it to be about Dale Wolfley. Um, and if you have a memory of him, if you got to meet him, if you know his family, anything you can say that's positive. I want no trash, no negativity. Um, he can't, at this point, uh, fight back for himself anymore. So we don't do that trash or negativity once somebody's in the grave. Two boys and a daughter. Sorry, Paul. Frank here corrected my error. No worries. No worries, man. Listen, I know this is tough on you. So it's all good. Completely understand for sure. Well, guys, I wasn't expecting this to be a very long live today. I really just wanted to get on here and talk about the Wolfman, and get just kind of get the temperature of the room and see how everybody's feeling. I figured everybody would be down and out about it, and they'll probably educate a few people in the process. That was the goal, to hopefully get this out to a few people. That way, if there is a GoFundMe that is needed, hopefully more people are aware of it now, if there is one. And if you guys have heard of one, please post that in the comments. Absolutely do that, and I will pin it at the top. So if there's not one, and there is a need for one, somebody contact me, and I'll make sure that it gets to the proper channels. Jason Harrison got to hang out with him several WVU trips and events. Loved his kids more than anything, along with a good steak. Absolutely. Thank you for commenting, Jason. Um, I think that's a great thing. Uh, who doesn't love a good steak, right? Not guaranteed tomorrow. That's right. We're not guaranteed tomorrow. Like I said earlier, I watched my dad have a massive one right in front of me, and it was the most helpless feeling I've ever had. So, one thing I guess I can be grateful for with this situation, at least, I don't know the particulars, but I hope nobody saw this happen, and hopefully the discovery is never easy in that situation. But I can promise you, I would have rather found my dad than watch it happen, because I've never gotten over seeing my dad struggle to live and not make it. That was the most, I've had some pretty traumatizing things happen. That was by far the most traumatizing thing I've ever had happen. So, I say all that to say, I pray and hope that nobody had to go through that with this. So, thank you guys for joining me here on this episode. Um, Mountaineers are number two, and I think that's something that is extremely exciting, something to be happy about. We're going to wait a day to talk about it. I'm going to dig into it tomorrow. We're chasing the Sooners, right? So we're going to talk about that tomorrow, guys. Hope you'll join me then. Thank you, everybody, for reaching out, talking about Dale and everything he's done. So, and thank you, Nick and TJ. I see your comments. Yeah, that was tough for sure. So um, I just want to say thank you guys, man. I have some of the best listeners. I really do. You guys mean a lot to me. And if there's anything at all I can do for you, uh, if there's anybody, anytime you ever need somebody to talk to, I will certainly give you my number, and we'll talk. That's one thing God gave me the ability to do was at least flap these gums a little bit. So if you ever need a shoulder to cry on, somebody anonymous, I'm your guy. This has been another episode of Mountaineer Paul Talks Football, you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. This episode is over. And rest in peace to the Wolfman, Dale Wolfley, gone at the age of 56.